November 11th as the day set aside to honor the millions of Americans who have served their country in the armed forces, especially those who risked their lives in defense of the United States. Whether or not you know someone who served in the military, or you served yourself, Veterans Day is a holiday worth observing. Here are 13 facts about how the day came about and how it has been transformed over the years. Number 13. It was originally called Armistice Day and was first celebrated a year after the end of World War I. An estimated 400,000 U.S. soldiers died in World War I, which officially ended on November 11, 1918. Exactly 1 year later, President Woodrow Wilson declared the day to be Armistice Day, in honor of the Americans who served in World War I. Part of his official address from the White House include the following passage. To us, in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service and with gratitude for the victory. Both because of the thing from which it has freed us, and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of nations. Number 12. The number 11 is significant regarding the end of World War I. The armistice with Germany went into effect in 1918 on the 11th day of the 11th month, at 11 a.m. Although random skirmishes continued for months, it marked the official end of World War I. Also significant is that World War II hero, General George Patton, was born on November 11th. Number 11. Armistice Day became a legal holiday in 1938. In 1926, the U.S. Congress adopted a resolution that the President needed to issue annual proclamations calling for November 11th, aka Armistice Day, to be observed. In 1938, Congress made November 11th a legal holiday, calling the date a day to be dedicated to the cause of world peace and to be thereafter celebrated and known as Armistice Day. Number 10. In 1954, Armistice Day was renamed Veterans Day. After the end of World War II in 1945, a Navy veteran from Alabama named Raymond Weeks got the idea to transform Armistice Day into a day to honor all the nation's military veterans. Not only those who had died in World War I. Weeks pitched the idea to General Dwight D. Eisenhower, the supreme Allied commander in Europe, and then organized the first National Veterans Day in Alabama in 1947. Weeks' idea caught on, especially since World War II and the Korean War had created millions of American veterans. After Eisenhower became president, he officially changed the name from Armistice Day to Veterans Day in 1954. Number 9. Veterans Day was not always celebrated on November 11th. In 1968, Congress moved Veterans Day commemorations from November 11th to the fourth Monday in October. In all, the new law shifted congressional holidays, George Washington's birthday, Memorial Day, Veterans Day and Columbus Day, to Mondays, in order to create more three-day weekends, which supporters believed would encourage travel and tourism business. Changing Veterans Day, however, drew public outcry because of the historical significance of November 11th. In 1975, President Gerald R. Ford ordered Veterans Day restored to its original November 11th date effective in 1978, regardless of the day of the week when it falls. If November 11th falls on a Saturday, tradition is to offer federal employees a holiday on the preceding Friday. If it falls on a Sunday, the practice is to celebrate it on the adjoining Monday. It is a legal federal holiday, which means you won't get your mail on that day. Number 8. There is no apostrophe, it's simply spelled Veterans Day. If you spelled it Veterans Day, that would signify it honors only one veteran. If spelled it Veterans Day, that would signify it belongs to all veterans. But there is no possessive implied here, as it doesn't belong to any veterans. It simply honors them, thus, it is spelled Veterans Day. Number 7. Veterans Day is not the same as Memorial Day. A lot of Americans get this confused, and we'll be honest, it can be a little annoying to all of the living veterans out there. Memorial Day is specifically designed to honor the over 1 million U.S. soldiers who gave their lives in all the wars that have been fought since the nation's founding. Interestingly, a full half of that death toll perished in the Civil War. Veterans Day honors all of those who have served the country in war or peace, dead or alive, although it's largely intended to thank living veterans for their sacrifices. Number 6. It differs from Armed Forces Day in that it honors inactive veterans. Armed Forces Day is a minor holiday that, unlike Veterans Day and Memorial Day, is not a legal holiday. Armed Forces Day honors only those soldiers who are currently serving, whereas Veterans Day commemorates both active and inactive soldiers. Number 5. Other countries celebrate a similar holiday around the same time. World War I was a multinational effort, so it makes sense that our allies also wanted to celebrate their veterans on November 11th. The name of the day and the types of commemorations differ, however. In Europe, Great Britain, and all the Commonwealth countries, there is a tradition of observing 2 minutes worth of silence at 11 a.m. every November 11th. Great Britain calls it Remembrance Day, too, but observes it on the Sunday closest to November 11th with parades, services and 2 minutes of silence in London to honor those who lost their lives in war. Canada celebrates Remembrance Day every November 11th. Canada's observance is pretty similar to our own, except many of its citizens wear red poppy flowers to honor their war dead. France and Australia also have similar holidays to commemorate the soldiers who served in the 2 world wars. In Australia, the day is more akin to the American Memorial Day. Number 4. These 3 states have huge veteran populations. There are 3 U.S. states whose veteran populations exceed 1 million, California with 1.56 million, Texas with 1.46 million, Florida with 1.44 million. And the states with the highest percentage of veterans are Alaska, Virginia, Montana, Wyoming, Hawaii, and Maine, where around 10% of the adult population are veterans. these numbers still make up just a fraction of the country's 18.2 million veterans, who can be found in all parts of the U.S. Number 3. New York City holds the largest annual Veterans Day Parade. New York City has held an annual Veterans Day Parade since 1929. With around 25,000 participants each year, it is the nation's largest Veterans Day Parade. At 10 a.m., an hour before the official start of the parade, a wreath is laid in Madison Square Park at the Eternal Light Flagstaff. At 11 a.m. the parade commences with marchers, floats, and marching bands. Number 2. It is officially celebrated at Arlington Cemetery at the Tomb of the Unknowns. The annual Veterans Day National Ceremony is held on November 11 at Arlington National Cemetery. At exactly 11 a.m., a wreath is held at the Tomb of the Unknowns. What follows is a parade of colors by veterans organizations and official statements by dignitaries at the Memorial Amphitheater. Number 1. The Eternal Light Flagstaff commemorates veterans. Part of the annual New York City celebration, the Eternal Light Flagstaff is a sculpture created by Paul Wayland Bartlett to commemorate the homecoming of the U.S. Army and Navy after World War I. It was dedicated on Veterans Day in 1923.